Did the Bogo earthquake trigger all of this? After the Bogo earthquake in the Philippines, the timeline started to look strange. A magnitude 6.9 earthquake struck offshore northern Cebu, near Bogo City. Shallow, close to land, and only about 5 kilometers deep. Then people began asking the same question. Why did the shaking seem to become more frequent? At first, the question stayed inside the Philippines, because only 10 days later, another major earthquake struck Davao Oriental, magnitude 7.4. Then another strong quake followed the same day, magnitude 6.8, a doublet near the Philippine Trench. Then another strong quake struck off southern Mindanao. For many people, the sequence no longer felt random. Bogo, Davao Oriental, Sarangani, southern Mindanao. Different parts of the Philippines, different earthquake sources, but close enough in time to make people pay attention. Then the timeline widened beyond the Philippines. Venezuela, magnitude 7.2. Then only 39 seconds later, magnitude 7.5. 2 strong earthquakes in the same country, less than a minute apart. Then within days, Japan, then China. Different systems and regions, but close enough in time to make people notice. The gaps felt shorter. Some were separated by seconds, some by weeks. One earthquake, then another. And these earthquakes were not harmless signals on an earthquake chart. Some damaged real places. Some took lives. So the question became harder to ignore. Will this continue? To many people, the timeline looked strange. It looked like one place moved, then another, with the gaps getting shorter. But a strange timeline is not the same as proof. Did Bogo reveal a wider period of clustered earthquake activity? Or did several already loaded systems release stress close together in time? That difference matters. A short gap can look like a chain, but timing alone is not proof. To prove a real connection, scientists need more than a timeline. They need distance, fault geometry, wave energy, stress transfer, and evidence that the next fault was already close to failure. Science does say one earthquake can sometimes disturb another fault. Large earthquakes send seismic waves through the earth. If another fault is already near failure, those waves may help it move. But that does not mean the later earthquakes were caused by Bogo. A fault in northern Cebu cannot automatically explain earthquakes across the Philippines or across the planet. Davao Oriental, Sarangani, southern Mindanao, Venezuela, Japan, China. These are different systems, different regions, and different tectonic settings. That is why the timing matters more than the location list. The pattern felt compressed. The Philippines kept appearing in earthquake reports. Then strong earthquakes appeared in other countries within short gaps. That does not prove a global chain reaction, but it explains why people are asking the question, are we seeing one connected chain? Or are we seeing separate loaded systems releasing stress in the same compressed window? The clearest answer is this: the sequence is real. The concern is understandable. But the cause is not proven. Earthquakes do not arrive on a clean schedule. Some periods feel quiet. Other periods feel like one region moves after another. And when the gaps become short, people notice. That is what made this sequence unsettling. Different systems, different regions, but close enough in time to make one question impossible to ignore. Yes, earthquakes will continue. Strong earthquakes will still appear around the world because Earth is tectonically active. Some weeks and regions may feel more active than others, but no one can use Bogo to predict the next country, the next date, or the next magnitude. That is the line between science and fear. The timing is worth explaining. The damage is real. The deaths are real. The concern is understandable, but the science must stay clear. A cluster is not automatically a chain. A short gap is not automatically a trigger. And a strong earthquake in one country does not automatically predict the next one somewhere else. Bogo may not have triggered the world, but it made many people start watching the pattern. And that pattern deserves a serious answer. Not panic, not prediction, not certainty. Pattern, not proof. Science, not fear. Preparedness, not panic. If you notice this pattern too, tell us where you are watching from. Do you think these earthquakes are connected, or are we seeing natural clustering across active fault systems? Share your thoughts in the comments. For more science-based explanations of earthquakes, trenches, faults, and Earth's strongest hazards, subscribe to Nature Forces.